Howdy folks, TechTexN here, and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. This game is fantastic. I love it. It is not even complete. It's been in the works for a long time, but that doesn't matter. I still love this game. This game is great, and you'll see why. Now, I had made a previous video I didn't post that was just boring, and I've been debating whether or not I want to create a video for new people who have never played the game or for people who are familiar with it. I think I would be too boring for those who are already familiar with it, so we're going to make this video for new people. So if you're new to this game, you never played it, you're going to get an idea. Let's see, I'm just going to start a new game. Start new, career mode. Yeah, now sandbox, you get all the tech and you get to do whatever you want. Career mode, you kind of have to work your way up. So, what name shall we give it? New? No. We'll just call it, oh, it doesn't matter. We'll call it Armstrong. There we go. That's spacey, right? Okay, so for those of you who are new, this game is all about building rockets and seeing how far you can get them into space. Not just seeing how far you can get them, but just what you can do with them in space. And also in atmosphere jets, you could build those as well. So, I'm going to try not to make this boring, so let's just dive right in. You go to this middle building here, and we build our rocket. Now, early on, you are not given very much tech. You're only given a few items to build with. So, right now, I'm going to start by clicking on Command Module. And the Command Module is basically what's going to control the craft. You're going to have your astronaut in there, and he's going to fly the sucker, unless when you later on you unlock satellite. Satellite is unmanned, but it's still a control module. So here we have the command pod only. And you see these little tabs up here in the top left. You can click around to get the different structure types. And in any given rocket, you always need fuel and an engine. Now, rocket fuel boosters, they're sort of fuel and engine in one because they're solid fuel rockets. You know, just like those model rockets that you would buy at home. They don't, you know, they're an engine in itself. But the liquid fuel, however, they have to have two different items that are mixed, and then they combust and give you that thrust that you need. But you get more thrust out of solid fuel, so that's to give you an idea there. Now, normally when you build these things, I'm just going to play this off as if I didn't know what I was doing. I would say, oh, well, okay, let's throw a solid fuel booster on the bottom and let's see how far that goes. And you start going through the other tabs and you'll see, oh, look, modular girder segment. Okay, what happens if I shove this on the bottom? Let's see what happens. Okay. Oh, parachute. I'm pretty sure we'll need that. Well, oh, good. We got ourselves a little aerodynamic cone. All right. Let's see. What's this? An antenna? Communitron? Should we put that where the parachute is? Nah. We'll just throw it right here then. Okay, great. And if you were to launch this aircraft, oh, by the way, and at the top you can name your aircraft. So we'll just put Flight Test 1. And you could choose your crew right here. Now, you see that there's 2 meters, courage and stupidity. Really, it means nothing. It does not matter who you choose. It's just whoever you want to throw up there. I tried to give a little more variance and, you know, let other people other than Jebediah go up, because Jebediah is always going up. But since this is the first flight, I'll let Jebediah go. So in the top right-hand corner, you could save this rocket. You can load a new one or create a new one if you want to just go ahead and scrap this all together. So without further ado, let's launch and let's see how high we can get this sucker. Woo, here we go. We're gonna fly. All right, now several things you need to know about controls when going up. Now, one thing you want to pay attention to is the nav ball down here. The nav ball is really what you're going to use for guidance as far as flying goes, because trying to fly from just the camera view is not very helpful. Really, the only reason why you're viewing craft is to make sure it's intact. And plus, it's cool to watch. It's really fun to watch these guys go up, go out of control, and everything else. In the top right hand corner, I always bring my resources down so I could see how much fuel I have on everything. So you have 433 solid fuel. Down here in the bottom left, stages. We'll go over stages. Okay, down here you see some buttons for staging. docking, if you ever want to dock while in orbit, and the orbit map, which brings you the planet Kerbal. Ooh, we'll go into more of that later. For now, let's launch the sucker. In order to do that, we got to hit spacebar. Oh, by the way, you always want to hit the T key, turn on your SAS, which really kind of auto-controls the inline module, or the inline reaction wheels, excuse me. And that is to give you control of your craft. So you hit spacebar to go. We're going the distance, aren't we, folks? But this is why it's a test craft. This is the fun part of the game. Watching to see what happens. Oh, it's going to overheat. It's going to overheat. Is it going to blow up? Nope, we ran out of fuel first. Okay, good. Well, the good news is we didn't blow up. The bad news is we didn't go anywhere. And I think it's because of this little support beam I put right below it. So we need to remove that. So you hit your escape key. If you noticed, okay, I think I failed this mission. Hit your escape key. You can revert the flight back to the vehicle assembly, or you can go back to launch if it was just a matter of not guiding the thing right. But we need to go back to vehicle assembly. We need to change this thing. Let's remove that. Now let's launch. Okay, now let's get our resources. Turn on SAS with the T key. So for those of you who are new, every time you get a launch pad, just always turn on SAS. Only experienced players will really know when to turn that off. So, but for all the people new out there, I highly recommend turning it on for now. All right, here we go. Space. Woo! Uh-oh. Oh! Well. Yes, that happens. If you're new to this, this happens. Let's revert to vehicle assembly. Gee, what did I do wrong? I know what I did wrong. Stages. And as I said, I was going to go over this. Stages. This is the importance of stages. What happens is when you hit the spacebar key, it turns on everything that is inside your stage. So basically, I activated the parachute the same time I activated the rocket. So I had two forces kind of going against each other, which was not good. But don't worry, we could fix that here. In the bottom right hand corner, you have this plus and minus key. The minus key deletes a stage. The plus key creates a stage. So here we can add a stage, and it doesn't go in order from 0 and on up, but rather it's a count down to the last stage of 0. So we want to first fire off our rocket booster in stage 1, and then after we run out of fuel, we would hit spacebar again to launch our parachute in stage 0. So with that said, let's launch again. You see, this game is a lot about trial and error, building, launching, build, launch, and then you just keep trying over and over again. And it's a ton of fun. Tiki. Spacebar, let's go! There we go. That looks right. Woohoo! Bring my resources down. And as you can see, that fuel is going down quick. Will we make it to space? Well, we're 2,000 meters up. And those who are new, you're probably wondering, well, how high do I need to go? Well, we're at 4,000 meters. You need to get above 69,000 meters to get above the atmosphere. 10,000 meters will get you to the point where you need to start turning. But we're already out of fuel. The purpose for turning is to get more lateral velocity, but we're out of fuel. So now we're just kind of going up at a particular velocity, but it is currently dropping because we are still going in the atmosphere. The gravity is pulling us down. So we're going to end up going back down whether we like it or not. But hey, you know what? Third try, we finally got up. We at least passed 10,000 meters. So that's kind of some of your initial goal, is to get to certain heights, and not just heights, but certain locations. Right now we're just bothering with going straight up. But in your orbit map, you can see there's a lot more you can do. See, that's the path of our flight right there. We're just going to end up going down, maybe off to the side a little bit. But we also want to attempt to get maybe to other mountainous areas, to the ice caps, and to deserts, other oceans, things of that matter. Now, as you can see, we're going back down and our velocity is picking up. So what we want to do is to unleash our parachute. So that way we can come in for a safer landing. And I hit spacebar to launch that last stage for the parachute. Now while we're going back down, and he'll go down kind of slowly here, I'll show you the map here. So I clicked on my orbit map, and I can also bring up my navigation ball, and you will need to do that frequently later on. But if you use your mouse, scroll on your mouse, you can zoom out, and you can see you kind of can go further than you could think. You can also reach the alien moon here, and this moon is going to be among some of your first goals. Your actual first goal, I would suggest, to be just getting into basic orbit of this planet. So you also have a second moon you could get to called Minmus, and it's a much smaller moon, so it has a lot less gravity. Not only just getting into orbit of it, but you can land on it. And it's not just the challenge of landing on it, but let's say you get an astronaut on that planet, you have to get that astronaut back off. So you got to plan your stages ahead of time to build your craft in such a way that it is capable of taking off from Minmus and coming back to Kerbal. And I know my parachute just deployed there at 500 meters. Okay, good. So we're still going down. But also returning, and returning safely. That is the key. Now notice this flight is a success because we were able to be successful at it. Hey, oh, by the way, let's do a crew report. Kind of the whole point of the science is to do these crew reports and get points. So we're going to keep the data, because with that data, we can unlock more technology. Back to the orbit map. So not only can you go to these two moons, but you have an entire system to travel around. It is a lot bigger than you think. So if I say go to Eve, let's zoom in on Eve. So you have a thick atmospheric planet here with its own moon called Gilly, which is extremely small, almost like a big asteroid. Okay, something just exploded. Oh, that was the rocket. Yes. So the rocket exploded because it was too heavy, but don't worry, the command module survived. And we're also going to do an EVA. So yeah, you can click on there and you can control your Kerbal. Yes, there he is. And you could right click on him and you get this menu. You could take a surface sample, so we can get some points for that. So we're going to keep that data. Going to do an EVA report. We're going to keep that data. So you get points for doing all these different datas. This bits of data is reports, data, data, reports, over and over again. And you could place down a flag, give it a site name, first safe landing for all Kerbal kind. Yay! Okay. I'm going to put them right back in the craft. Walk up to it. You get your options for the letter F to grab onto the ladder, and F again to board, or space to let go again. And if you put your mouse at the very top of the screen right here, this will drop down. You get the option to recover your vessel, and that ends the mission. And it gives you sort of a status screen to tell you, okay, this is how many points you got on this one mission. So we got 19 points on this mission. Well done. And with these points, you could go down here to the R&D department and unlock the next science. We only needed 5 science points to unlock some more items we could use to build our craft, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And now our tree starts to expand. So we have more options. I don't have enough science points for any of them. I only have 14 science points. This one's going to cost us 20. This one's going to cost us 18. This one's going to cost us 15, so we're not going to even bother with those. So, with that said, we're just going to build with what we got. Time to build. Alright, this craft is not gonna do it, so we're gonna do a new one. Command module! And let's do liquid fuel. And by the way, you're gonna have to get a little used to clicking around on this screen because it can sometimes be a little counterintuitive, or at least it seems that way. A lot of people who want to drag the entire craft only end up clicking the main body of it, but that doesn't actually move your craft. That just detaches that part. To move the entire craft, you have to move the initial command module. Okay, fuel tank. Let's add more fuel. Yes! And we have to attach an engine to liquid fuel. So remember that for liquid fuel tanks, you need a liquid fuel engine. Those are separate parts. Just attach them. Look at that. We're getting a rocket. Now, I can tell you already from experience, just to speed up things here, that's not going to be enough to get us in the atmosphere because liquid fuel by itself just doesn't quite cut it. We need some rocket fuel boosters. So I'm going to use modular girder segments to do this. Oh, by the way, you have a nice little symmetry button down here, so you can put them on equal opposite sides. This is important to know, as balance of the craft will really help you to control it. So always bear that in mind. To help you control a craft, make sure it's well balanced. If it's not well balanced, it's going to tip to one side or another. And we want our safety parachute on. And oh, remember, if that parachute can only handle so much weight, so we probably need to find a way of separating these two when the time comes. And here you have a stacked decoupler. Now the way this works is it detaches in the direction of the red arrow, so this will be still connected to this when it detaches from the command module. So the command module will be on its own later on. We need to check our stages. So here's what the order of the stages currently is, and it's not correct. Is if you hover your mouse over it, you'll see it highlights the objects that get activated. So all three engines are going to go off in one stage, but I don't want to do that because that is waste of fuel. Sure, it'll go super fast, but that's not what we want to do. What we want to do is set this up so that the rocket fuel, the solid fuel boosters go off first, and then the liquid fuel engine. So that is the purpose of your stages, to make sure that everything goes in order. Now, as the missions become more complex, say going to another planet, so will your stages. So paying close attention to your stages is vital for a good, successful mission. Or if you don't pay attention to it, then it is just fun failures to watch. It really is. That's half the game of this is half the fun of this game is watching the failures. It really is. Okay, let's see. Is that all we want on here? Do we want to add anything else? Oh, mystery goo container. Yes, this is helpful for science. Oh, we don't want two of them. Symmetry mode. Right click to go back and left click for more, or you could just go all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to put that right here. Hopefully it won't tip it too far that direction, but we'll see how this goes. Do I want the Communitron? Sure, why not? We'll slap it right there. Now, you can just add two for the sake of balance, but I'm not going to worry about it. Actually, yeah, I am. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have two mystery goo containers, so I could do two separate sciences. One at a lower altitude and one at a higher altitude, if I get there. And then one Communitron. Why not? Okay. Oops, I put two. Communitron's not that heavy, so it's okay to just put one. Alright, this one. Big house. Yeah. Time to launch. Wait. Jebediah, is it your turn, or shall we give Bill a try? Bill. Yes. You're gonna go. You have been chosen, Bill. We're gonna make it to space, darn it. Okay. Hit T for SAS. Now notice the bigger your craft gets, a little bit more wobbly it gets on this thing. So sometimes you want to be quick about launching before it decides to tip over. Okay. Now, for solid fuel, it only has one level of thrust, but for liquid fuel, you have adjustable thrust. And to adjust it, you hold down the shift or control key, and you'll see down here by the nav ball a throttle control. And that's what shift and control does. If you want to completely kill your throttle, hit X, and that brings it all the way to 0, and then you can adjust it again. Now our engine's not on, and that's why I'm not going anywhere. So again, like I said before, hit your space bar to activate your stages, and we're going to be off. But I'm going to get my throttle ready for the liquid fuel when it comes to time. So I'm going to keep my throttle up here, so when I do launch stage number 2, it'll fire off immediately. So here we go! And I'm going to get up to 10,000 meters, and then I'm going to turn at a 45-degree angle in the eastern direction, which is to our right, supposedly. And you want to be careful with how close your engines are, because the engines are too close together, they will overheat. But don't worry, these are not going to overheat, they're going to run out of fuel before they do. So we are okay with that. And they are out, so now we are on liquid fuel. Notice we didn't get as high this time. That's because these two engines are having to push a lot of extra weight, which is that liquid fuel. So weight is a factor when you build these things. Alright, we are approaching 10,000. We are going to go ahead and turn. You're going to get to about right here. And we're getting good acceleration. You could bring down the throttle if you're still accelerating at a good amount. So that way you're not wasting fuel. Alrighty. This is when I go to the orbit map to kind of help see where I'm going and how far I'm going. Now keep an eye on your fuel while you're going, because you're still burning it. Your apoapsis, which is the highest point of your orbit, is going to eventually reach 25,000 meters. Now remember, I said we need to get above 69,000 meters to get above atmosphere, so we may not make it. We only have half our liquid fuel, and even if we do, we're definitely not going to get into full orbit, but that's okay. It is still the highest. Oh, you know what? We need to do some reporting. Crew reports. Yes, 3 science. Keep. Mystery goo. Observe. Alright, keep. We'll do the other one when we get higher. And I'm going to kill my fuel here. Actually, you know what? No, I'm just going to use it up. Go as high as I can. 100,000 meters. Alright. And that's a good goal to reach. Now, if I had a lot more fuel left, I would get in orbit with this. But as you can see, we ran out. So this rocket just does not do it. But that's okay. I'm going to wait till we get side of the atmosphere so I could do an EVA in space. Yes, and we could do more science. That is the whole point of this. We want to do more science. And there's way down there the Space Center, which we are saying goodbye. Goodbye. We're almost out of atmosphere. Yay! And you can hear that music start up whenever you get outside the atmosphere. So now we're going to do the mystery goo. And look at that. More science. Yes, keep data. And we are going to do an EVA. And notice I am floating. Now if you hit the R key, you get to use your fancy pack here where you can go around and maneuver in space. Now I don't want to go too far. I'm going to go ahead and just grab this and do a basic EVA report. Recorded observations about the situation. Now notice it says EVA report from space just above Kerbal water. Keep data. That's important to know because we have done our EVA above Kerbal water at a low altitude outside of atmosphere location. So you have to consider the biome and the altitude. So if you're in atmosphere, you'd get more points. If you're way above orbit, say the 100,000 meter point, actually probably just did at a high orbit. Actually, no, I don't think we did. I forgot what's considered high orbit, but you have to be in pretty high orbit. And I think we've done all the science we can. I could transmit, but the problem with transmitting your data is it eats up your electricity. And I want to save my electricity for maneuvering. Okay, again, something else for all the new people out there is some missions take way too long to do. So in the top left-hand corner, you have the option to warp and speed things up. So that's what we're going to do. See, woo, okay, that was just demonstration sakes. Just showing you that that's how you would do that. All right, let me detach all this because it's nothing but useful weight. I hit spacebar to launch that stage, which detaches, and I love watching that stuff detach. I think everybody does. It's just beautiful. And the debris just floats away. But be very careful. Debris has a tendency of hitting you back. Alright. Now, re-entering the atmosphere, the heat does not affect your machine unless you downloaded a mod for it where it does in fact affect it. In later versions, if I'm not mistaken, they will have a thing where you do have to face your heat shield properly and come at a certain angle and speed and so forth as to not damage your vehicle. And I kind of look forward to that. That's just another challenge. For new people, I think they should have an option to disable it though, so that way people who are new to the game can kind of get used to the basic mechanics first, and then they can turn it on later on for the challenge sakes. Alright, we're coming in at 1,400 meters per second. We're entering the atmosphere. Notice we're slowing down. Woo! Look at that. Pretty. Don't worry, it's not going to damage the vehicle. It's just there for looks. But again, I hope they do add it later on. But if you do want something like that, there are mods out there that you could download for that. Whew, look at the G-Force. G-Force. Bill looks a little concerned, but he shouldn't. He has a parachute. We're going to land safety. Land safety. Land safely. Okay, come on. Oh, I could just speed it up a little bit. I don't want to speed up too much because that can be a little dangerous. In fact, let's just go ahead and deploy the parachute. Now, I've launched the parachute, but it hasn't deployed. That's because if you right-click on it, it actually fully deploys at a certain altitude, which you can change, and it deploys at 500. There we go. Now I'll speed it up. I know that there was a glitch where if you speed it up while parachuting, that some people have crashed. So I just to avoid the possible glitch, I slow down just before landing. Oop, oop, oop. I can't see. I can't see. Oh, there we go. Whoa, whoa. Okay. We're a little heavy, but we're still afloat. So yes, this does float in water, so we're good there. I'm not going to do an EVA because I already have a ton of... Well, actually, I think I will do an EVA. Okay, we're going to take surface sample. I'm going to keep that data. And I don't want to destroy my other EVA report, so... Oh dear. Oh dear, I can't get back in. Oh... Well, you don't have to grab. You could... There we go. Okay, board. Whew. Oh, it was close. Alright, now we're going to recover vessel. And you'll see we got a ton of points from that. Now, ton is relative, and you'll find out why. We got 63 science points. So you can see the importance, and it's easy to forget to do the science at certain altitudes because you're more concerned about, well, just making the flight. But hey, you know what? You could always do the flight twice, so that's not a bad thing. So we're going to click Done. Let's go in our R&D department and unlock more stuff. We can obviously afford everything here. So we're going to do 20, 18, 15. So now we're down to 10 points. So we just did a ton of stuff. Now you don't have to unlock this in a specific order. You can unlock just whatever's available. There'll be some stuff grayed out if it won't let you unlock. And over time, you'll get an idea what you need to unlock. You're probably thinking, what should I unlock? At first, I highly recommend unlocking anything that gives you science points. So, science tech can be important, and more specifically, you want to aim for this guy right here, the Science Junior. He's a little heavy, but he gets you a lot of science points, so you want to get that. But also, you're going to need the rocketry in order to get anywhere for bigger fuel tanks, more efficient engines, things of that nature. You do want the stability enhancer as well, because as you can see, launching directly off the pad, your ship can be a bit unstable just sitting there, and this will help out with that problem. Plus you get radial decouplers, which are very handy. So, with that said, there's so many other things to explore. There's just not enough time. This game is fantastic. I know just watching it, you probably think it's a little boring, but actually playing it is it's really rewarding because you meet these challenges that are so difficult and you accomplish them. Much like our forefathers, well, I won't say forefathers, our previous generation did back in the NASA program. When they had just some of the basic technology of rocketry and were trying to get into space, and they faced so many more problems than you do in this game, but at least this game kind of gives you some ideas of what they were facing, how orbits work, and just the uncertainty of when you go into it. And that's kind of part of it. It's that uncertainty of what you're going to run into when you're building these rockets. And then when you get there, you think, oh, okay, that's how it works. Well, let me rebuild my rocket and it'll work. So it's very rewarding. This game is so great. And in some ways, it's educational as well. You get a better idea of inertia, just the way motion itself works. The physics of it is really great. So I highly recommend this game. It's not expensive. I think it's only something like 25 bucks on Steam. So it's a very good game. And there's a ton of mods out there that you could download for free and add to this game to even make it more fun. So I recommend trying that out as well. So with that said, if you want to see more videos, please click subscribe and you'll see more videos on my channel. And comment below if you want to add anything else to this game that you want to talk about. It's a great game for discussion, and there's tons of videos out there of what people have built. They're a lot more creative than I am, so I highly recommend checking them out. Check out Scott Manley. I think he has the most popular videos for Kerbal Space Program. The guy's an astrophysicist, so he knows what he's talking about, and he's made some really cool stuff. And he is just boss when it comes to fuel efficiency and traveling around the system in this game. So please check him out. He's got some awesome videos, and I'm going to try to bring some more videos to you on this game as well and see what I could build. You know what? I'm just going to try to stretch my legs and see what I can do, what I can accomplish, and of course, I'm going to try to bring in the ridiculous as well. So with that said, y'all come back now, you hear? Bye.